Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. Today I wanted to talk about how I am planning out my October TBR, as well as my Spookathon TBR, because they just announced yesterday, I think it was yesterday or today, I just watched a video on Books and Lala. I'm so excited that I'm out of breath. Okay, so I just watched the video, and there's 5 challenges on there. You guys go watch Books and Lala's videos. She's doing it with 2 of her friends. And it's got all the challenges underneath there. It's like there's an orange book, a book that takes place in a spooky place, a childhood fear. There's all these different things. And I want to make a really good TBR this year for that because I really want to do it and complete it. And I'm excited about it. So I'm going to really think a lot about it. One of the things on there is that it says read a book that is based on a childhood fear. Do you guys all know what my biggest fear is? I talk about it in all my videos, but my biggest fear of life since I've been a little kid is sharks. So I read Jaws for Spookathon last year, but I wanted to see if I could find a book that was scary about sharks. I've read a couple of them. I read that book Meg. I can't remember if that's about a shark, but I'm sure Jaws is not the only scary book out there about sharks. So if you guys have read a scary book about sharks, please put it in the comment section below. But I kind of wanted to talk about, because you guys, I have literally probably 20 books right here, and this is nothing compared to what I have. There are a couple things I really do want to have on my TBR, and let's get into that. So number one, I'm going to be group reading 2 books on my channel next month, if you guys want to do that with me. The first one is Richard Denny of Richard's Book Nook, The Library of Souls. It's his book that just came out. I've talked a lot about this. You guys would think that Richard's giving me all kinds of money to promote his book, but he's not. I'm just real excited about it. I'm going to start this on October 1st. I am also going to start on October 1st Helter Skelter, the true story of the Manson murders. And I'm going to start this on October 1st and finish it, I think, on October 31st or before that. We'll just see. So anyway, I've been trying to read this book for like 2 years, and I'm going to finish it. And a lot of people have mentioned to me in the last year, oh, I read this. If you want to read it again, I'll read it with you. And people don't seem to have a problem getting through this. I don't know why I do. True crime really terrifies me. And I think part of it is just my history of working with mental health and the Department of Corrections for so long that I have come face to face with people that are, I don't know, how can I say this nicely, not stable, especially in the Department of Corrections. And so this kind of stuff really terrifies me. And so to read this, or to read about murderers, or to read about that kind of stuff, you know, I think it's so realistic of what's still out there and what could be. So I think that's why this book really, really scares me. Now listen, okay, I want to show you. First of all, I have like about 30 or 40 Goosebumps books. So I'm planning on reading a lot of the Goosebumps books, like the, you know, the little thin ones that are like, let's see, they're like this size, this size. I have a lot of those, and so I'm going to try to read those as I go through the month. But I also, when I was just looking, I have been collecting these, and this is actually, I think this is a Richie Tanker Slikusik book, but it's called Trick or Treat. But these Scholastic book novels, you guys listen, I have so many of them now. I think I might even have 2, some of the same. Like Slumber Party, I have a bunch of those. I have so many of these, you guys. I just looked, I have like 30 or 40 of these. So my plan is to read a lot of these in the month too. October is gonna be kind of like my catch-up month for my Goodreads challenge. I set my Goodreads challenge for 100 books for 2017. I know it was kind of lofty, but I read longer books. So, and it also has been taking me a long time to read books. But September, just wait till my wrap-up later in the week. I have been reading like nobody's business this month. So, these are a lot of the books that I'm going to be reading this month. Now, a couple of the other things I was thinking about doing is that one of the books that people ask me about a lot, they always ask me, because they know that I like horror novels, and they say, what is the scariest book you've ever read? And for me, that is Richard Lehman's Endless Night. I'm thinking about if, like, the Helter Skelter goes well, I may try to group buddy reads this at the end of the month. It's a really fast read, and I'm thinking about maybe doing that. I was going to listen to it on Audible, but it's not available on Audible. A lot of Richard Lehman's books are, but this one is not. Okay, so I have a couple books that I really want to be on my list for October. But then I would like you guys to link some books or comment. And I don't want books that are like, oh, this is kind of good or kind of scary. Look, I want terrifying books. I want scary thrillers. I don't care if it's horror. I don't care if it's, I just want scary, scary books, right? So I don't know how scary these are, but a couple of them that are going to be on there right now. I will tell you this. I'm reading Rotten Ruin right now. I have the physical copy, but I'm reading it on my Kindle. A lot of people are like, I don't like it. I like it. And it may be the first series that I've been able to get into in quite some time, besides Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicles, so, which I'm going to return to in November. But I like this. Have you guys read it? I think it's pretty good. So anyway, oh, my books are a mess over here. Okay, so here are a couple books that I really would like to be on my TBR for October. And you know, I think I was going to do a video today, call it how to plan a TBR, and I think I'll save that, maybe do that video tomorrow. But like the way that I have done a TBR over time has kind of changed, and I will maybe like expand upon this tomorrow in my video. But like when I first started doing BookTube, I felt like you had to have a TBR and stick to it, because that's what like a lot of BookTubers do. And it's like when you realize that you can draw outside the lines, you know, in class, and that you're just as fine a drawer as anybody else. Is that how you would say that grammatically? You draw just as fine as anybody else. And so, I think when you realize that it's okay to like for me, I like having a TBR because I kind of like knowing what books I might read that month. But then if I want to put in a book, that's fine. Like this month, or this week, I've had a very strict TBR of books I want to finish. But then I picked up this book called The Book of David, and I'm like just tearing right through it. And I'm like, well, that wasn't even in my TBR for this week. So I don't think like you have to stick strictly to a TBR. And it's always interesting to me when I talk to other booktubers, and hey, baby, do your gig, okay? But when I talk to other booktubers or other readers, and I'm like, hey, have you read this? Would you like to read this with me? And they're like, okay, can we wait till January because I already have my TBR set for the next 3 months? And I'm like, really? Like, you have to be that strict with reading? Like, okay. But anyway, there are a couple books that I would really like to be on my TBR for October, so I would like to know what you guys think of it and see if I should or if I shouldn't. The first one is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. I actually got this on Book Depository, and it's been sitting there waiting for October for a while. So have you guys read this? It looks good. I won't read it. The next one, I mean, I have had this on so many TBRs and haven't finished it. A lot of people say they love it, a lot of people say they don't, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. It actually, I've read like the first 3 chapters, and then just put it away because I didn't have time to read it. But I think this is something that I actually really will like. It's kind of my kind of young adult book, if that makes sense. The next one is Black Rabbit Summer by Kevin Brooks. And it says, wait. Pete Bolin was busy doing nothing that summer. Long, stiffingly hot, lazy day stretched ahead of him. Then she called. It was Nicole. But where there are old times, there are old tensions, and as secrets, bitterness, and jealousies resurface. 5 old friends are plunged into the worst night of their lives. This is supposed to be fantastic. I've heard so many good reviews about it. Have you guys read this? Heard of it? Black Rabbit Summer. So if you have, let me know what you think. And then definitely on my TBR for October is going to be Final Girls by Riley Sager. I think there's a sequel out to this too, so if I finish this, I might read the sequel. And then definitely on my TBR for October is going to be Friday Nights at Freddy's, The Silver Eyes, which is the first one in the series. The second or third one is out right now, so I'm really excited about reading this. And then, I haven't talked to him about this recently, but Dylan the Reader 5 and I were going to read The Cellar by Natasha Preston. A lot of people have told me they really like her books, and a lot of people have told me her books are crap. So I don't really know. I don't really care. I like suspenseful novels. So this will definitely be on my list. You know, I've read so many Lois Duncan books through the years. If you guys are looking for really, really good, like thrillers, young adult thrillers to read for October, Lois Duncan books are fantastic. But I've read almost all of them at this point that I don't really have any to go back to and read. I also was thinking about getting the John Blair's books. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like The House with the Clock in Its Walls? Because I read those in middle grade, and I have actually 2 of them over there. But then I ordered on Thrift Books, and they're on their way already. The Witch's Sister series by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. Now, this series is, I'll show them on here when they come. This series is a book, it was a trilogy, I thought, but then when I looked on Thrift Books, there were like 7 of them, and I just ordered all of them because they were like $3 or $4. But they start with Witch's Sister, which is this girl and her friend, and they realize that her older sister is a witch. And then Witch's Water and the witch herself. And I don't know what the other 4 are called, or 3 or 4 are called, because those weren't available when I was in elementary school. So Phyllis Reynolds Naylor is the author of like Shiloh and those books. So I'm really excited about reading those. Plus they're like 200 pages. They're really small. They're like for grades 4 through 7. But I like that kind of stuff if I can just get through it really fast. Plus for me, it's kind of like going down memory lane as far as like old Halloweens and stuff like that. But I do want to be really, really scared. One thing I have to say is that Origin by Dan Brown comes out in October. I think it comes out October 1st maybe. And I already have that pre-ordered for my Audible. So that will be the book that I'll be listening to the second that I cannot snap with this hand. The second that it comes out. I also bought Stephanie Perkins' new book, like Stranger in the House. But it's pre-ordered and I get it tomorrow. I have like 2 hours left of this book that I'm listening to right now. I'm listening to Emily Friedland's The History of Wolves, which is up for the Man Booker Prize. You guys, it's fantastic. It literally took me like halfway to get into it before I was like totally intrigued by this novel, but it is really fantastic. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to listen to Stephanie Perkins' A Stranger in the House, just because I'm ready to get scared. I'm ready for Halloween. In fact, I meant to pull out my ceramic pumpkin that I used to have and put it up there because everybody keeps on asking me, is the pumpkin gonna return? Of course the pumpkin's gonna return. It's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So anyway, and then another audiobook that I'd like to listen to in October maybe because so many people have recommended it to me. Even though it's about zombies, but I think it's kind of funny. It's called White Trash Zombie by Diana Rowland, I think. I've heard really good things about it. And it's a series as well. So, and then I was like on the Audible list of like scariest books. A lot of people said It, but It is like 40 hours and I'm not gonna listen to it. Plus I just saw the movie. And the other ones, that there were like 2 Joe Hill novels on there, and I thought, okay, Joe Hill, like maybe that would be a really good novel to listen to on Audible, something scary. It was one that was like NSO, I don't know, like it didn't make any sense when you read it. So do you guys have suggestions for really scary audiobooks and really scary books to read for October? I'd really like to know. List it in the comment section below because I'm gonna make my final TBR going like sometime at the end of this week, probably maybe the last day of September, which is it Saturday? I think it's Saturday. And then I'm gonna do my Spookathon TBR, but I'm waiting until I see what books come out in October and what books I find in the next week or two because I'm always on the prowl for a scary book. So I love you guys and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.